Canon V10. Now that I've had this for over 3 months and using this, and I made another video where I declared I was gonna be using this camera for all these kinds of YouTube videos from here on out, and then also use it for other production stuff that I do. But now I have found three things that they're not entirely deal breakers for me, but I'm shooting on a Samsung S23 Ultra, which looks amazing, straight out of camera. And compared to this, I think it's a little bit of a step backwards, even though I do like that classic Canon Vixia look from a 1-inch sensor. So here are the three things that I've been having issues with this V10 with. The first issue is there's a USB-C port. Now there's an internal battery in here that runs a little over supposedly 100 minutes, I think, or 110 minutes on its internal battery. And if you want to record longer than that, you need to plug the USB-C into a power bank, and then you could have this running for a very long time. The problem is that the PD, the power delivery cable, and whatever power battery bank you're using, it has to be of a specific kind that at first I did not have, and then I eventually tried one that was about 100 watts, and then that was able to power it, and where I saw it being powered. But otherwise, when I would plug in my normal battery banks into here, or just plug it into the wall using USB-C, it showed up as just charging the battery, but it wouldn't run this continuously, and it would only charge the battery when this is off. So there's some kind of an issue that could be updated with the firmware, although it does feel like the Canon is not going to be updating the V10 anytime soon with any new features. It's quite a quirky camera. The second thing that issue that I've been having with this, and specifically for my kind of YouTube videos here, is that I'll often hold a piece of gear really close to the camera, and then cameras like this Samsung S23 Ultra is great at close focusing like this on a macro level. And this Canon, although it does have decent autofocus, it doesn't have very fast autofocus, and because it's a pretty wide angle view, whenever you put something close to the camera, it was not focusing on the center. That I put it on center, and I even tapped to focus, and it would just not focus on it very fast, sometimes not at all. So the focusing for close distance, or for moving something pretty close and then pretty far back, that was not great with this camera. And the third issue I was having with it is that, and I don't understand why Canon is doing this. First off, it does not have good image stabilization. It's an electronic image stabilization, and it doesn't have that GoPro kind of image stabilization that other cameras have. Even the other 1-inch sensor cameras, they have IS in the lens, or they have ways to image stabilize it. This one is done all electronically, and the problem with that is there's a specific setting to put this on if you want image stabilization, and it's not on the manual setting. So right now, here are your main settings. Right there, there's 4 of them. Those are the only modes you can choose from. And if you want manual, which I always like to shoot in, and I go into manual, and then by going into manual, you can change all of your exposure settings right here. And then you can go into the other bigger menu, and then you can change more settings like white balance and stuff like that. But there's no image stabilization. So if you're going handheld, it's going to be very like an older school GoPro camera, where they were very the shakiness is not very good by today's standards. Even phones, an iPhone, Samsung, they have image stabilization. So the only way to get image stabilization is to go into image stabilization mode, which is right there. Now it's in image stabilization mode. It punches in a little bit in order for the electronic stabilization to center itself. But the problem is, once you go to image stabilization, everything's on auto. You no longer have full manual control over the exposure. I don't even think you have white balance. So that is weird to me when Canon is marketing this. Oh, I got some. Look, I already got a fingerprint on the lens. So, Canon is marketing this as a vlogging camera, and oh, I should not do that. I should have a cloth. Canon is marketing this as a vlogging camera for vloggers to flip it up like this and to film yourselves. But a lot of the times, vloggers want to do this handheld, like carry it around and talk to the camera. But if you do that, you don't have manual control. So maybe Canon is assuming that everyone who would vlog with this, like a vlogger style handheld, they don't know better and they don't want manual control. And they're not savvy enough with, or they're not technically the basic level of exposure setting savvy to want to do that, where I feel like a lot of people do want to do that. And I want to use this for semi-professional use as a B-roll camera or as a C camera, sort of like a crash cam off to the side, but I can't trust it. And so yeah, this is a very quirky camera. I'm going to hold on to it just because it's such a strange camera, and I don't think anyone's going to I doubt this is going to last very long on the market for Canon. If you got this, then good for you. I had done another video about why I explained why I got this originally, and it was great for that. But so far, yeah, those three are they're big issues for me. And like I just happened in this video, look, I already touched this lens and there's a fingerprint stain on it. I don't want to rub my sweater over it. It's going to damage that lens. I got to get a microfiber, which I'm going to do once I stop this video. But look how easy it was just for me to touch that, and ugh, no lens cap. Come on, Canon.